and done too. 50's Cruise. Yeah, baby.
And welcome back, fans.
Finally, it's the finals.
That's right. Today we find out which is the fastest car of the 1950s. But first, if you remember, last time I said we were going to be joined by a very special guest. And it's someone who needs no introduction.
His contract demands it.
This person got their start at the world-famous Guillotine Diner, spinning records on the weekends, and he went on to become one of the world's most famous DJs of all time. It's the one, the only, the original Howler, the guy that did the intro to our tournament, the Jackal Man himself, Jackie Lupine.
Ow! It's Jackie the Jackal Man Lupine. Yeah, baby.
Oh my, an honest-to-goodness celebrity. Should I call you Mr. Lupine?
You could call me Mr. Lupine. You could call me Jackie. You could call me the Jackal Man. It doesn't matter what you call me, as long as you call me, baby. Ow!
Okay, slow it down there, Jackal Man. The only thing we need revving around here are the engines of our two finalists.
That's right, Sugar. Let's introduce them for the last time.
Up first, it's someone who entered this tournament by answering our open call looking for fan drivers. That's right, it's Scrapyard Diecast Racing self-proclaimed superfan, Speedy Ben Duncanson, driving in one of the world's most famous race cars, the 1952 Hudson Hornet.
The first Speedy Ben made light work of Jeff Newman in his 1957 GMC step-side pickup all the way back in race number 7.
You went from a new man to an old loser. Yeah, baby.
Then, in quarterfinal race 3, Speedy Ben did me the biggest favor by putting away the world's most annoying telemarketer, Norman Kirk.
What's his hang up? Get it? Hang up? Like the phone? Because ain't nobody like telemarketers, baby.
Lastly, in semifinal race 1, he put away the heavily favored Matt Macy, the racer known for using his head in his 1953 Buick Skylark convertible.
He might have used his head, but he didn't get ahead. That's for sure, pretty mama.
And our other finalists proved with some tools in the garage and a little elbow grease, anyone can make it to the finals. It's Roscoe Fletcher, the home auto mechanic from Springdale, Arkansas, and his custom garage-built 1956 Ford Caravan.
Roscoe first joined us in race 10, where he faced Scott Woodard, whose 1957 Chevy Bel Air Sports Coupe literally had its engine fly out.
That's a lot of flying horsepower. And a flying horse is a Pegasus, baby.
Then in quarterfinal race 4, Roscoe proved that a fancy nameplate doesn't always guarantee a win, because he sent paramedic Alfred Sherman home faster than his 1953 Porsche 356 Outlaw can do 0 to 60.
Ouch! How do you say sayonara in German, baby?
And most recently, in semifinal race 2, he squashed Waldo Wilcox and his 1953 Custom Bug and sent him back home to North Alamo, Texas.
Now he has another loss to remember at the Alamo, baby. And speaking of losses, let's start this race before we lose any more viewers, baby.
Here we are at the Guillotine Gate for the final race. In lane 1, it's our garage mechanic Roscoe Fletcher in the panel van. And one lane to his right, it's our superfan Speedy Ben Duncanson.
We are one countdown away from seeing who makes it to the top of the charts, baby.
You got it, Sugar.
3, 2, 1, go, baby.
Roscoe cuts in.
Spin it, baby.
Roscoe through the turn in reverse.
Where's Ben?
He's showing up late to the dance, baby.
And he is out. Roscoe's still in reverse.
He scrapes across the line.
Let's see that one more time and hit that rewind, baby.
Wow, that was an awesome race. Look at this, guys. Roscoe goes immediately in for the block coming down Blueberry Hill. And he turns it into some kind of spinning spinning mega block that I've never seen before.
That was amazing.
Looks like they were doing the twist, pretty mama.
Oh no, it was much more than that. That was the first time in Scrapyard history that anyone tried that spinning block. And I think from this day forward, that whirly-bird block will forever be known as the helicopter.
Oh no, it won't. The Yellow Jacket is the one and only helicopter ever to be featured on this here channel. Says so right here in my contract.
That's right, it does.
How do you know what it says in Wild Bob's contract, Candy?
Well, you see.
Hey baby, how's about since those two were spinning like 45s, we call that block the record player. Ow!
That's good, but it seems a little too on brand for you, and not so much for the Scrapyard. We need to come up with a good, spinny sounding name.
I got it, Al. How about the Cyclone?
That's perfect, Candy. You deserve a raise. And so do I, but I mean mean old Mr. Crane is a cheapskate. Anyway, fans, here it is. Our newest block, the Cyclone.
And that does it work.
It sure does, because after Roscoe is able to throw that panel van in reverse, he speeds through Monroe.
And your super fan was as lost as Little Bo Peep's sheep, Daddy-O.
But it looks like Speedy Ben's head was still spinning from the Cyclone, and he comes into Monroe upside down and roof slides to a halt halfway through the turn.
And that super fan's time at the top of the charts also grinds to a halt as he drops faster than a one-hit wonder, baby.
But Roscoe Fletcher has no plans of falling off the charts or the side of the cliff in La Bamba, and even though he's tumbling in reverse, he still manages to keep it on the track. And even though he was on his side, he manages to score a win by grinding all the way down Sunset Boulevard.
We call that the electric slide in the music biz, baby.
Unfortunately, Speedy Ben's chances at victory ended in the turns of Monroe.
If you gotta end up any place besides the winner's circle, Monroe's curves ain't too bad, baby.
Oh, Jackalman, you stop being naughty.
Anyway, we want to send a big congratulations to Speedy Ben. A second place victory isn't too bad for a superfan driver.
But unfortunately, second place in the tournament still equals first place on the dun pile.
Unlike Roscoe Fletcher, who started out this tournament as just a weekend mechanic in his garage. But he's gonna end up as this tournament's winner.
Congratulations to Roscoe Fletcher.
So really, at the end of all this, what did we learn?
Looks like you found out if it's the 1950s and you don't want your car to end up on the dun pile, you better bring a van, baby.
And while we're still on the topic of dun piles, I have a special announcement to make. It looks like I'm also gonna have to put myself on the dun pile on account of this being the last ever tournament I'll host.
What are you talking about, Candy?
You thinking about running off with the Jackal Man to the sock hop, baby?
No, Jackalman. Well, you see, I'm gonna be starting a new position on account of my buddy getting me a job in the main office.
Wait, your dad knows Mr. Crane? The mean old cheapskate owner of the Scrapyard? Is your dad one of Mr. Crane's rich golf buddies or something?
No, sugar. My daddy is Mr. Crane.
What? You're blowing my mind right now. How is that possible? Your last name is Real. I always thought your dad was the guy who invented the fishing pole.
Wrong again, sugar. Candace B. Real was my stage name. On account of Daddy wanting me to get some work experience before starting in the main office, didn't want you boys giving me any kind of preferential treatment.
Hold on, Candy. Is your name even actually Candy?
100%. Because when Daddy first looked at me, he said I was the sweetest candy.
Oh yeah, and he wasn't kidding, baby. Ow!
Whoa. So your actual name is Candy Crane? Candy Crane? Candy Crane?
That's me.
That's one sweet candy crane that can be under my Christmas tree anytime, Daddy-O.
So what does this mean? That you're like my boss now?
No, sugar. I'm like everyone's boss now.
You know that whole time I was just kidding about the Mr. Cheapskate line, right, Candy?
That's Miss Crane to you, sugar.
Fans, I honestly have no idea what to expect from now on. I guess I'll just sign off. So, from all of us here at the Scrapyard, thank you so much for watching. We'll have an all-new tournament starting real soon. But for now, thank you for being part of the...
Hold on, little man. That's my line. I'll see all you groovy hip cats on the flip side. Thank you for being part of the one and done dude. 50's cruise. Yeah, baby. Oh!